There we go. What's up, Lewis? How are you, brother? Thanks for taking your time again. It's the end of the season, or the regular season, I should say. So glad to have you on to talk about Tigres.
Hey, Arnaldo, it's great to be here again, man. We're getting down to the most important part of the season, right? As you know, this season has ended. We finished in the second place, and now the real season starts because Liguilla is where it matters. You know, anything can happen. It's a new tournament, so we'll see how we do. Hopefully, we do well.
Yeah, it almost seems like we were ready to move on to a new tournament, man. The ending of the season was not great. We ended up with a tie, 1-1 to Atlas on the road, with a penalty kick by Nico in the 193rd minute, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And the previous game, you took a loss against America, you took a loss against Necaxa, and then before that, you had a Toluca win. But I want to take you back, man, to I think a point in the season where I think that things started changing, and it's that Pachuca game, because I think that they were the first team that exposed us as to how to play after we had been riding such a great form in winning. So I want to get your thoughts on that, and as we progress towards the end of the season with some of these results.
Yeah, you hit it right. You hit the nail right on the head because we were going in red hot into that game. And also, it was to really solidify that first place. We had said before the game that whoever won that game was pretty much going to finish first at the
Mm-hmm.
top of the standings, and they beat us. And like you said, they exposed us because their wingers did a lot of damage to our back line. I feel like in a lot of ways they made our back line lose confidence again. They had been playing fairly well, had even some clean sheets along the way, and then once we played Pachuca, we got exposed pretty badly. It wasn't a terrible game, but we did they did expose a lot of our flaws, and it sort of started the slump for us. And as you know, the end of the season was kind of a mirror image to the beginning because we had a
Mm-hmm.
sort of a rough start, 1-1 tie to Santos, and then a 2-0 loss to Puebla. And so it's funny, we've tied with Atlas 1-1. Previous game is a 2-0 loss to America. So almost a mirror image of what happened at the beginning of the season. And when we first started, we weren't very confident. Like, as a matter of fact, we were kind of questioning if Piojo should continue or not. I mean, there was a lot of questions as to how the team was going to react. So
Yep.
it's kind of uh, it's kind of been a rough couple of weeks. I feel like in a lot of ways the team kind of loosened up. Probably felt that that second place was there already, and maybe kind of let some gas off the pedal there. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that was like the main concern for me, because that game, like I mentioned, I thought that we were exposed. So moving on to the game after that, we had the Querétaro where we had the red card with Ugayala, so and then Soteldo. So I feel like a lot of things started happening that weren't so, like, we were being a lot more chaotic as the season was coming to an end. So I'm excited, man, like I am every season, but we're going with a lot of uncertainty where we can be, champions at the end of the tournament of the Liguilla, or get booted in the first, round.
It just all depends on what team shows up, right?
Yeah.
If it's the teams that was playing well and scoring a ton, generating a ton of chances, then I feel pretty confident. The main concern right now at the end of the season is we're not generating chances. We're not having a lot of shots on goal. I
Mm-hmm.
think first half there was only one shot on goal against Atlas, and in the single digits overall in shots. And so that's got to be a major concern because we were easily getting into the double digits when we were playing well. We haven't been able to score in the first half. So that's a huge concern for me because what that tells me is we can't score early, and if we go down, we don't have the ability to be able to score in bunches and win. So that's a big concern. I think the Necaxa game is a game that they're going to need to look at really well because we went down in the score, and instead of turning it around, they went and dropped another one on us. So that's a big concern going into Liguilla because teams will park the bus on you, and if you can't break it, then that could very well be the end. So I'm hoping that we get back to at least generating a ton of chances, getting a ton of shots, so we can have that opportunity to win.
Yeah, it seemed like at the end, like it was more, we started playing, and we always bring it up in ways, or even if we don't want to, a little bit more slower, like kind of like the way we played with Tuca towards that end, where the system was dying out. That's how it felt like these last few games. Like there was not enough like excitement in the buildup of the plays, all that intensity that they had carried for most of the season, and especially when they were on that winning streak. That was all gone. And like, the effort was there. The players are committed. There's no doubt about that. I know they want to win. They're gonna, strive for the championship, but it seemed like they were just not going at it fully. And you talked about the relaxation of possibly, once having, locked in that second spot, mentally players could have checked out, maybe worried more about, how they were going to end the season health wise, yellow cards or any of that sort. So I just don't know like what team we're going to get, like you said, and which one's going to show up. So I'm a little concerned as you are, but going into that playoff, do you see a team that you would prefer to play? I know that we're still a couple of days or a few days from, the playing
It's
system they got.
it's still really hard to see who will play, but it's possible we get Rayados. I mean,
Mhm.
if the favorites win, you could get Rayados, Atlas, and then a Pachuca final. Which, if that's the case, I really, really like that matchup. I'm really confident against Rayados and fairly confident against Atlas because I feel like they're teams that won't challenge us as much as for example in America that has
Mhm.
very dangerous strikers and
Yeah.
wingers. So I feel like we match up well against those two. So hopefully it stays that way because I feel like we would have a shot at least making a final there.
Yeah. And so, you mentioned that Monterrey that possibly match up. I want to talk about because to me that was the best result that Tigres got over the season. I think that was the game where they dominated in most aspects of the game. Offensively, they had the clean sheet. Dos golazos. So I feel like that was to me the best performance. Was that the case for you? Is there any other game or other performance that they had that stuck out to you from the whole regular season?
Yeah, the Rayados game was excellent. I thought offensively it looked what Piojo wants to do. It was like the perfect example of how Piojo wants the team to play. We were pretty much in the middle or final third, just generating constant chances, and Rayados didn't really pose much of a threat throughout the game. So I think that's been one of the better ones. The Toluca game was a fairly decent game. I think we won that one 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
We had plenty of chances, but to me, the Rayados one was the most complete.
Yeah, and it just the opponent too, right? Toluca nowadays is considered more of a weaker team as opposed to Monterrey, who has in theory all these stars on their team based on the squad value. So Cole, any predictions? Do you really think we got it? Anything that you're expecting immediately? Are you gonna be surprised? What's going on in your head as we get into these playoffs?
It's funny. We talked a few weeks back about how that whole Piojo going to the media, to ESPN and talking about the selección and how that could be a distraction. And I think in some ways it might have been. I feel like it was sort of the start of the slump for us. But I'm really confident in the squad that we have. And when I say confident, I mean the leaders in the squad. Like you have Nahuel and you've got Gignac and a few other guys who I think are not going to let the team look bad in the postseason.
And I guess the good thing we have winners. Most of these players have all won championships, whether it's here at Tigres or away from Tigres. Angulo is a recent champion. So it's just going to be a time where we have to be precise. Passing, the intensity has to be high, the pressure. Bigon and Carioca towards the end of the season, they went through that slump too. We didn't have that presence that they normally have, but overall, very confident. At least another semifinal visit for sure. But it's not looking as clear as I had of a vision when we were like week 10, week 11 around that time.
Last time we finished second was in the 2019 Clausura, and that's the year we won the championship against León.
Yeah.
37. They had 37 points that year. We have 33 this year, which has been one of our better seasons in the last 10 years. And and the team just got it all together in the postseason. And I think if we can just get another one of those from Nahuel, where Nahuel was on fire that postseason. He was
Yeah,
just stopping everything,
he
tons of
won us that one.
saves.
Yeah,
The defense stepped up, and Gignac, doing his thing. So I'm thinking they know what's on the line. A lot of the guys are very well motivated. I don't know if you watched the Toban interview with Pello Maldonado, but he
did.
says he's got another gear. He says he can do better. So I believe him when he says he's got another gear and that he wants that championship. So I think the motivation's there and they're going to go for it. I'm fairly confident we'll do well.
Cool. Glad to hear that. And I think that one last thing that I want to get out of you before we go is, regular season ended, whatever happens after this, we're doing it with this current squad. We had some injuries here and there. A lot of time, at the beginning we struggled, got some great form, not ended in great form, but what are a couple of things that you would like to see immediately taken care of roster wise, tactically moving forward as we close out this regular season and potentially seek a championship this offseason or playoff season? I'm sorry.
In the Liguilla, I want to see the veterans play. So I want to see Uguayala in there as a center back paired up with
Angulo.
Angulo. I think they did well, and I think they deserve a chance. They're both battle tested. They're both winners, and I think they can do well. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see Diego Reyes in there, and so I want the guys who've been doing it to play. I don't want Piojo messing around with the lineup too much as he did in these last few games. I think he knows what the starting 11 should be. He should stick with it. And then the subs, I fully expect him to not try to do anything silly like he did in the Leon game last season. I hope he learned the lesson. You don't try to park the bus with 20 minutes left against a team that plays very well. So the fans want him to attack the whole time. So that's what we need to continue to do. We just need to continue attacking. We need to win and score in bunches. So that's what
That's
I
our,
want to see out of Piojo.
that's our best defense.
Yep.
Scoring a lot. So good stuff, man. I think right center back position, a right back in the near future is what Tigres should strive for.
Yeah, for next season, we definitely got to load up on an elite right back and another center back. We definitely need somebody to pair up with.
I think it's time to let Reyes go, man. I think it's time to let Reyes go. See if you can, get some value out of him in the league. Maybe a lower, maybe a Mazatlan, a Juarez. I think if Tuca grinds it out, I think there's going to be some players coming back. Jurgen Damm's coming back, and I saw you tweet about how he, fit here under Piojo. I'm agreeing with you. I think it'd be great, but I think he's going to like Juarez, man.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So I think that letting go of Reyes and keeping Igor to fight out with whoever comes in, and finding a replacement for Dueñas, letting go of Chaka, and seeing what else we can use on the left side with Aquino as well. Because Angulo to me should be the center back, no question. He's flexible to play outside, but starting left center back, I think we found a Juninho replacement enough to at least be confident of who we have in the back, unlike other years.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely here to stay. Hopefully he makes a long career out of it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your time, man. I'm sure we'll be connecting once we get ready for these Liguilla games. And hopefully, I'm hoping that we get Rayados so we can knock that out of the way, from the get-go.
Oh man, that's gonna be a really awesome Liguilla. Hopefully we get that matchup and then continue moving forward. This should be pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ronaldo.